Alright, let's get started and talk about some preparation for our printed terrain items. A couple tools that you should always have. The best goes first here. This will be your mini blowtorch. Runs on butane. You can find this at any home store, Home Depot, Lowe's, home improvement kind of stuff. This thing is phenomenal. I'll show you guys some work here in a second. Second item is going to be your hobby knife, your X-Acto knife. I imagine everyone's probably got one of these hanging around. Thirdly would be your needle nose pliers. And then fourth, this is some perfect plastic putty. Let me get this to zoom in a little better. There we go. And this is on Amazon. I can put the link in the blog post in the description. This stuff's great for when you're kind of finishing up that top surface layer, getting that to a quality level that you want. And then lastly, I'll look at some spackling paste for filling in some holes, etc., etc. Okay, cool. So to get started, we're going to start with stringing. So for that, we're going to need our torch. I'm going to fire this bad boy up. And it uses butane as a fuel source, which comes in an aerosol can. You just load it down here. Then you're good to go. Now this thing is a torch, so you got to be really careful with this. But you can see, I always look inside. Okay, it's getting hot. And we're going to grab our part here with some fuzzies on it. Try and get it zoomed in there so you can see them. Usually you can get your settings to where these aren't that big a deal. With your retraction, once your retraction's zeroed in. But even then, if you have a couple different printers or whatever the case may be, you'll still get some. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to run this, boom, right up on there. You can see it just eats any of the stringing away. And there you go. Super easy, super fast. Alright, let's talk about bridging defects. This is the archway from the landing bay core kit. Usually you get this guy, a little hanger right here. Two options there. You can use the torch, you can shrink it up in there, hit it, now then see it's a little bit liquid, and then what I usually do is I'll rub my finger up there and clean it up so it's nice and flat. I don't worry about this down here because it's on the underside, and no one's going to look at it, right? You can hit it with the heat if you want to, and you can see it kind of boat out first, but then it'll suck back in. You can push it down if you want. I'm going to go ahead and hit some of the stringing on the roof. Get that all cleaned up. This is actually what we do to all of our parts that we send out. Just make sure there's no stringy bits. If you have some left over, you can either sand it or you can just rub that off with your finger and they will go away. Okay, so also on the back side here for some bridging defects, another trick you can do is you can take the hot end of this torch once it's good and warmed up, and you can actually use it to melt the plastic. So you put it right on there, rub it along there, a little smoke there, but now what you see what's happened is this thing is solid, like it printed it right there. It's probably one of my favorite little tricks. You can use it on any kind of angle like that, or a print that didn't have any supports under it. Maybe there's one or two drooping strings. Okay, so we'll take a break from the torch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just one quick thing with the hobby knife. You can see here, let me get the focus in. There we go. You can see here that once again we had on the outside we had this guy right here. So what you can do is you can run your hobby knife right up in there, trim it out if you don't want to melt it or you don't have a torch. It's real easy and clean. Boom, gone. That's good to go. See some stringing here, you can hit that with the torch. And then this as well. The torch is my primary tool.
Let's talk about surface cleanup now. This piece printed terribly. You can see there's a lot of jamming here on the surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some Drywall Spackle, use it to fill in and blend the surface so we don't have to throw this piece away. once that drywall spackling is applied, it's a great surface, easy to sand. Then you can prime, then you can paint. Or you can also alternatively use the perfect plastic putty. On these vertical surfaces, I like to use the drywall spackle. Cheaper, it goes on just as easy, but I save that perfect plastic putty for those flat horizontal surfaces. Alright, so I'm just going to speed up here, just show you how I apply it, and then after this you let it dry. 15-20 minutes, sand it down, and then prime and go. Okay, so let's clean up some top surface, flat surface, horizontal surface, whatever you want to call it. Grabbing the perfect plastic putty, gonna put it on, and I'm just gonna smooth it around with my fingertip. Highly recommend you dissolve a little bit with water. It'll make it last longer, go across more surface area, and it still has the same effect. So what it's gonna do is gonna go and it's gonna fill in all those gaps you may have from a poor top layer. Fill in those gaps, and then it will dry. You can sand it, and it will have a very nice top surface finish. And here's a finished example. You can see the finish quality is great. Takes paint very nice. So you prime it, paint it right afterwards. Can't even tell it's printed. So those are some of the basic tips for cleaning up prints. Any questions, throw them in the comments below. Other than that, thanks everyone for watching.